Well, today we're really diving into a tough one, the heartbreaking story of Liam Payne's death. It's just so sudden. At only 31, the former One Direction star was found dead in Buenos Aires, and it was a fall from his hotel balcony.
Yeah, it's not just the fact that he's gone that's so shocking, right? It's all the stuff surrounding his death, like the days leading up to it. Just hours before, police were called to his hotel room. Someone reported an aggressive man, and they thought he might have been under the influence.
It's almost like something out of like a tragic musician story, this incredibly talented guy living the dream, and bam, it ends way too soon. But there's another layer here that makes it even more complicated, the legal stuff that was happening right before he died. It all goes back to his relationship with his ex-fiancée, Maya Henry.
Their whole thing was a whirlwind, right? From passionate romance to this huge, very public engagement, and then a really messy breakup. And then the rumors of infidelity started. Here's where it gets interesting. After they split, Maya wrote a novel, Looking Forward. She says it's fiction, but that she pulled a lot of inspiration from their relationship.
Okay, so this is new for a deep dive, a tell-all. And the details in this book are pretty intense. So Maya creates this pop star character named Oliver, and the similarities to Liam are, well, they're pretty obvious. The character struggles with substance abuse, has these moments of explosive anger, and there's even a whole plot line about Oliver pressuring his girlfriend into an abortion. All issues that, unfortunately, Liam faced in real life.
And that's where the ethical lines get really blurry. Maya says that Looking Forward is fictional, but she's also talked about wanting to be a voice for women who have gone through similar relationships. But Liam is gone now. He doesn't have a chance to share his experience. So we only have this fictionalized version that, whether it was intended to or not, shapes how the public sees Liam, especially during a really hard time in his life.
It's almost like looking at a mosaic that's been smashed. We have these broken pieces of Liam's life, the music, the relationships, the struggles, and then there's Maya's book. She's claiming it's separate, but it's impossible to ignore how it fits into his story. But is it a real depiction of him, or is it exploiting his life for the sake of art? Especially now that he can't share his side.
It's a question that's been around forever. How much can art imitate life? And do the rules change when someone's gone and can't give consent? And the timing of everything just adds another layer of complexity to all of this.
Because just a few days before Liam died, things between him and Maya got even more serious. From a legal standpoint, I mean.
Yeah, you're right. People close to them both said Liam was blowing up Maya's phone with messages. Like, to the point she felt really harassed. She actually reached out to his mom for help.
Wow, so it sounds like both of them felt like things were getting out of hand.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it eventually led to Maya getting the law involved. She sent Liam a cease and desist letter, and this was just days before he died.
Okay, so I think we need to clarify something for our listeners. Not everyone's up on their legal terms right. So what does that actually mean? A cease and desist letter. What does that even involve in this kind of situation?
So basically, it's an official document, usually goes through lawyers and everything, and it's demanding that someone stop doing something specific. In this case, Maya probably wanted Liam to stop contacting her completely. And the sources close to Liam did say he was feeling super overwhelmed with all the legal stuff.
So you've got this super public breakup, a novel that's got everyone talking and speculating, and then you add this legal pressure on top of it all. And it's all happening within what, like a week? It makes sense that Liam would be feeling the pressure, like he's trapped or something.
Yeah, and then there's that quote from Maya's friend who apparently warned her about the book. She said, if something happens to him, the whole world's going to blame you.
Ugh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's just really scary how much weight those words had. Because even if Maya meant for Looking Forward to be completely made up, its release, especially with everything else going on, really blurs the line between what's real and what's not.
It definitely makes the whole thing even more tragic.
Yeah.
And it makes us ask, when does telling your story turn into something harmful? Especially when the other person can't share their side of things anymore.
Exactly. It's a tough question, and there are no simple answers. But you mentioned earlier that Liam was in Buenos Aires to see his old bandmate, Niall Horan, perform. He even posted videos of himself at the concert just a couple days before his death. And he looked happy. He was singing along. It just makes the whole thing even more complicated because on the surface, it seemed like he was doing great.
I know. And it reminds us that what we see is just a tiny part of what was really going on in Liam's life. We see those moments of happiness of him with his friends. But at the same time, we know he was dealing with all the fallout from the breakup and then the release of Maya's book.
It's just, it's awful to think about what was going through his head in those last few hours.
Yeah.
Especially with what happened that night at the hotel.
Yeah, it's true. We still don't know a lot about what happened leading up to his fall. I mean, the police got there because of a report of an aggressive man. They thought he might have been on something, but no one really knows what went on in that room.
And it makes you think about the pressure of being famous, especially for someone like Liam, who became a star so young. Think about it. One Direction was everywhere, and he was just a teenager when it all started.
Right, and to have that kind of attention all the time, it can be really lonely. People watching your every move, the media, fans, everyone. It's a lot to deal with, even for someone older than him.
And now with social media, forget about it. Every little thing you do is online and being talked about. You just can't get away from it. It makes you wonder how much it affects people, even someone who seems like they have it all together.
Totally. We forget sometimes that celebrities are real people. Behind the music and the photo shoots, there's a real person with real problems.
And Liam, even with all his success, was obviously dealing with things. Whether you look at what we know about his issues with substance abuse and his anger issues, or how it's written in Maya's book, it all points to someone who was struggling.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this whole thing so captivating and so sad. Liam Payne's life was a mix of amazing moments and really tough times, just like his music.
It really does leave us with more questions than answers. What really happened that night in that hotel room? What was he thinking? And how will people remember him? Will it be for his music or for all the rumors and stories that are still floating around?
You know, maybe the best way to honor him is to remember the joy he brought to people with his music, and at the same time accept that he had his own struggles that he was dealing with privately.
Well said. It's a good reminder that there's a person behind every story, every song, every headline. And each of those people have their own unique experiences and struggles. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the life and death of Liam Payne. It's a story that really makes you think about the price of fame, about the line between telling your story and being hurtful, and about remembering to be kind to each other, especially in this world where information spreads so fast.